Hello and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story this hour. Transport staff across Germany are on a major strike today. The unions have called for a 24-hour walkout to push for higher wages in the face of high inflation. Workers at airports, ports, railways, buses and metro lines have heeded the call, and the impact of the strike is already being felt. Munich Airport wears a deserted look. The boards there show a string of flight cancellations. Berlin's central train station was also largely quiet this morning. The strike could be the largest that Germany has seen in decades. Union leaders have said that it's a matter of survival for thousands of people. They acknowledge that the strike would inflict pain on many commuters and holidaymakers. But they say it's better to have one day of strain and reach a wage agreement rather than have weeks of industrial action. That strain is already being felt.
Well, if I had known it, I wouldn't have come here and tried. I'm a bit shocked, actually. But, was it? I never heard. I didn't heard of it. So, yeah. I have to find out what to do right now.
We were supposed to go to Berlin, but our plane actually departed before we arrived at Munich. So there weren't other planes that could bring us to Berlin. So with the company that we booked with, they arranged for us a stay to an hotel near the airport, and so we're here waiting for a bus to Berlin.
There are two unions that have called for strikes today. The first is Verdi, which represents around 2.5 million public sector employees. The other is EVG, which represents 230,000 workers on the railways and at bus companies. Verdi is demanding a rise of 10.5% in monthly wages, while EVG is seeking a 12% increase for those it represents. Now, for more on this, we are being joined by our correspondent Trent Murray, live from Berlin. Hello to you, Trent. Thanks for being with us. Now, what is the on-ground situation like? The strike, which is expected to be one of the biggest that Germany has seen in decades, has begun.
Yeah, that's right. You are certainly feeling it on the ground here at Berlin Central Station. It would normally be one of the busiest days of the week, a Monday morning peak hour, but right now it is effectively a ghost town here. The only people you are seeing is a couple of confused passengers that may have not quite got the memo about this nationwide strike. It has effectively paralysed this country this Monday. We have seen all long-distance trains cancelled, as well as regional trains, metro and subway services in a number of cities, as well as flights. Now, those major airports of Frankfurt and Munich have also been caught up in this. Those really are the gateway airports for both Germany and Europe in many cases. It is not just affecting European flights, but also those long-haul flights from other parts of the world. And this is all because of this strike action. Unions effectively combining their strikes into this one day in order to try and inflict maximum pain on the travelling public, and also therefore pile pressure on employers as they sit down for those wage negotiations.
Trent, now the cost of living crisis is of course one of the reasons. But what are the other reasons? Why have the Germans come out onto the streets, and why have the past negotiations failed?
Well, obviously Europe right now and Germany is battling record inflation. We've seen the cost of food and groceries go up by around 10 to 15% in some cases. Electricity is also up, and just the general cost of living. And so therefore what unions are saying is that their employees, those members, do need big pay rises in order to try and deal with that record inflation. The trouble is, for the employer groups, including the state-backed rail firm Deutsche Bahn, they say the types of pay increases that the unions are asking for, between 10 and 12% in most cases, is just simply too much, and that they can't afford it, and that if they were to increase wages by that much, then that would be passed on to the travelling public in terms of ticket prices. So of course there is a bit of to and fro here in this negotiation, both sides seemingly standing firm, but right now, as I say, it is the travelling public that are being caught up in the crossfire of this negotiation. We know traffic has increased today on the roads, given there is no public transport available. Also, many people using bicycles today to try and get to work. It really is their only option, and it is worth noting that the unions are calling this a warning strike. There's a clue in the name there. They are saying there will be more of them unless those employer groups do indeed agree to increase wages in that double-digit figure.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.